playoff beats, you gotta know. Let's go Celtics, let's go. You motherfucking Celtics, let's go.
Welcome back to Still Poddable. You guys are the kids, the gods, and the legends. I am Sam Jam Packard, joined on the couch live from the TD Garden by Brian B. Robb of MassLive.com and Jay King from The Athletic, rocking the Still Poddable merch. And I'm pumped and jacked because the Celtics have won another playoff series on the back of Al Horford, who was absolutely magnificent tonight.
You are fired up.
I'm absolutely fired up because I follow the leader of this team. Al Horford is phenomenal, and he decided the Celtics did not have enough energy. He was going to will this team to a victory. He was not going back to Cleveland. They did not go to Cleveland for the weather, and they just came out and won another series 4-1. Jay, I think it's time to hit the music.
Let's go. Let's go, you motherfucking Celtics.
Woo!
Let's go, baby. Let's go. You motherfucking Celtics, let's go. Let's go, Celtics. I said, let's go.
Oh,
Motherfucking Celtics, let's go. All right,
I went to check a message that just came in, and that fucked up everything.
Tell that man that we cooked his goose. Let's go, Celtics. I can't relax. All the homies screaming, fuck you, Matt. And let's go, Celtics. I said, let's go. Let's go, you motherfucking Celtics. Let's go, baby. Let's go. You motherfucking Celtics. Let's go. Fuck you, Max.
I love our fans. Jay got the message that song was recorded, like a half hour before the tip?
Oh, yeah.
So that's coming in. That's ingenuity right there. That's innovation. Fuck you, Max Strus. Minimal Strus. Phenomenal line. But
all the homies chanting, fuck you, Max.
Yeah, all the homies were chanting that. Have to give a shout out to Al Horford tonight. He was just fantastic. B-Rob, I mean, what is that has to be the biggest takeaway of the game is just Al Horford. The Cavs were daring him to shoot, and he made them pay. I think 5 threes tonight. Just a gutty performance. 6 threes, a gutty performance from Al Horford. What'd you see out there?
Yeah, the crazy part about the night is Al started slow. Like, he missed the first couple, and it's like, oh, this is not a good sign because the rest of the team wasn't having it. But the man needs some time off. The man knows that they want to get back to the finals, and for them to do that, he needs to rest old bones. He doesn't need a 6.
Hold on, he doesn't need rest. Al Horford doesn't need rest. Al Horford needs to keep playing more.
No.
Al Horford needs to just continue shutting down Darius Garland. Who needs rest? That guy doesn't need rest. He just needs to fucking go crazy every game. He was incredible. And it wasn't just once he woke him up. He woke him up at the end of the second quarter by hustling everywhere. He woke him up again in the fourth quarter with hustle plays. He was getting offensive rebounds. He was making shots. Garland had no success against him in switches. Like, could not handle him in switches. Couldn't even get a shot off for a while. Al Horford turned back the clocks. He was incredible.
Yeah. He's tired of playing meaningless basketball games, I should say, against teams second round.
No, he needs rest.
He needs rest. He needs rest. He's tired. He's done. But this is the type of shit the last couple of years where there's the Hawks, Sixers not showing up, and the first 18 minutes of this game was another sign of this. Is like, are they going to show up tonight or not? The energy wasn't there outside of him and Derek White, but it finally got there. And I don't know, Packard, I think the best part of that right now, like, the Celtics' biggest lead of the night came at like the end of the game. Like, they built up so many times we've seen them built up a big lead and then kind of hold on to the end. This time around, they fed on Al's energy and they finally got it going offensively in the fourth quarter, produced some magical basketball, and then kind of ran away with this.
Yeah, I think like Al obviously did a lot of just in terms of bringing the energy and the intensity, but I thought their execution, especially in the fourth quarter, I think it was like 9 minutes, 10 seconds left. The Cavs call timeout. The Celtics come out with an 11-2 run after that, really extend the lead in the fourth. And then they just consistently got easy buckets down the stretch. I thought Drew Holiday was just hanging out in the dunker spot, seemed to work out really well for him. But the Celtics made the right plays. I think Jason Tatum had 3 or 4 assists in the fourth quarter. All the kind of concerns about they still like milk the clock. But again, I think that's like when you're up big in the fourth quarter, you kind of want to use the entire shot clock. But I thought the Celtics just did a very good job of making the right pass, trusting the right pass, and were able to pull away in the fourth quarter, which is like exactly. I guess you have a lot of criticisms about the Celtics. The Celtics have faced a lot of criticism this postseason, but they did what they needed to do, especially late tonight. I thought that was an especially good sign.
10 assists on 11 buckets in the fourth. They were just dissecting the Cavs and getting easy open looks at the end of that. The pass from Horford to Tatum for a wide open bucket. Some of the passes from Jaylen Brown, they were just really, really doing a nice job of keeping everyone involved, not getting crazy, not trying to go ISO, none of that. They just made the right play time and time again. I thought their response, once Marcus Morris went bonkers.
Oh,
What a night.
throwback Mook night.
And brought the Cavs within 3. Like, that was just high-level offensive execution the rest of the way. They were fantastic. And everybody was involved. The ball was whipping around. And first thing Joe Mazzulla said when asked about it after the game was that they got going early in the shot clock.
Right.
Obviously, that has been a huge factor for this team over the years. When they look their worst in the fourth quarter, especially in close games, it's because they're milking too much clock. They get in deep into the shot clock, fall into ISO play. Tonight, they left themselves with enough time to move the ball around, find the open guy, and run away with this win that for a while looked like Cleveland might even steal one.
Really. And to that point, Brown and Tatum both took 2 shot attempts each in the fourth quarter. So they were leading this team in assists tonight. So getting into the flow and then looking for others where they had plenty of opportunities to take shots, but they knew that better shots are waiting for them if they broke down this Cav defense. And I'll give Biggerstaff credit. Like, he just decided, you know what? We're rolling Garland, Mobley, and we're rolling guys with shooting shots right now. Morris, Merrill, etc. Those guys, not good defenders. So it was a matter of like, hey, guys, run good offense. We'll break them down if we move the ball. It happened, and they ran away with it. And it finally felt like a playoff game at the TD Garden by the time we got to the second half there.
Yeah, the crowd got into it, especially, I mean, I think seeing all the emotion from Al Horford, but the offense late, it felt like the Cavs were doing this kind of show and recover thing, and the Celtics had this 4-on-3 opportunity. It wasn't like a classic like heavy trap because there was a guy coming back to the roll man, but they had a kind of this just opportunity, and they kind of went to it every single possession. Whoever set that initial screen, and we saw a bunch of different guys
slipping and getting over the top,
get it over the top, and then make the right pass after that. And obviously that led to a lot of open threes, but I thought like the cool thing about that execution, a lot of just wide open layups at the cup after great ball movement in the fourth. And it was an interesting game because the first half obviously was a lot closer than you kind of wanted it, especially but it was like the Celtics were winning the numbers game in terms of like all those shot margins that you talk about. It was everything except free throws, and the Cavs were sticking in this game, even though the Celtics were shooting pretty well from 3. The Celtics were not getting out rebounded. There was not a lot of like turnovers or the Celtics turned the ball over a little bit in the first half. But the really Celtics didn't get to the free throw line once in the first half. And
it was just a low energy. It really was a low energy start. When the Celtics start, I think it was 6 for 9 from deep, and then it was 8 for 15 from deep. Almost always when they shoot the ball that well, they're going to build a lead, and usually a pretty substantial lead. But tonight, like Mobley was doing a great job protecting the rim at first, and so they weren't able to make their twos. And then their defense just wasn't dialed in. Joe Mazzulla, early in the second quarter, called a timeout after the Celtics built a 6-point lead and then allowed 2 open 3-pointers right away. The second one was to Max Strus, who just walked into one. And so I think Joe was pretty mad. Obviously, Al Horford was pretty mad.
Not pleased.
And he just turned things around. They needed a spark, and Al just kept fucking giving it to him. It was such a good performance. And he had some troubles during this series, especially when Mitchell was still playing in switches. And I actually thought like that worked okay. They made Mitchell beat him. Mitchell hit some incredible shots. You tip your cap, you move on, you keep the rest of your defense intact. So Al allowed them to do that. But tonight he was just shut down. Garland kept hunting him, and he just kept saying, no, 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 no.
I think he made the decision like Garland's not going to shoot threes over me. And like and I have faith in my ability to recover against Garland going to the rim. I think he had three blocks tonight, but it was just, and Garland did not have a great game.
He was a broken man by the end of that.
4 for 17, and it is like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know what the other strategy was going to be. The Celtics obviously did a good job, eventually late, like closing out, and it seemed like they're just kind of welcoming. It's like, if you want to do this, and it's not like Garland was like really shooting from threes, and so it felt like the Celtics were kind of just like, well, like, you want to play this 2-point basketball game? Like, how many free runs to the rim did they like let Evan Mobley get? It seems like they kind of just welcomed that kind of 2-point attack from the Cavs, knowing that the math was eventually going to turn in their favor.
Yeah, it was a situation with, I mean, Garland just he hasn't been right all postseason long, really, and this was a game where outplayed great defense, but he just did not have a confidence in his jump shot at all, and that showed in terms of how he was defended there. And to be honest, I look at this box score, guys. How did Mook only get 13 shots in this game? Like, what they should have been doing is just having him run ISO stuff more, because he was just that out of control in this game. But finally, the Celtics did tighten up on him in the fourth quarter. And to be honest, I thought another guy who was huge that we haven't talked about yet, Derek White defensively in the fourth was phenomenal once he came into the game. He made that sub for Pritchard with like 8 minutes, and that's when they went on their game deciding run, and he was blanketing Strus and their other shooters there. And that's when they really locked in and got some stops, because like you said, Packard, the pick and roll defense was really shoddy at points there in the second half, and they really weren't able to shut down the Cavs until late.
I thought White was great most of the night. He started off hot after a couple of quiet games offensively. He had one block on Max Strus where it looked like he just baited him into it. Like he was intentionally not taking away the space so that Max Strus would try a layup so that then he could block the shot. It was like what you see in like a 12-year-old AAU game when like some superior athlete is just baiting the other kid to try it. And White did it against somebody. I think Strus is taller than he is.
That seems right.
Yeah, I would say that's right.
The timing White has is just kind of ridiculous. It's insane, and obviously it happens all the time. But just the way that he was just like lurking to pounce there, even by his standards, I was impressed.
It was just, and in the first half, you're pointing, like, he was there offensively. He was the only guy that showed up early in the game too, when everyone was kind of just waiting in the flow there. And then everyone showed up by the time they got to the fourth quarter. The one thing I'm going to have to take off here in a second, guys, to catch my last train to hand off to you boys. I thought Joe Mazzulla coached a really good game tonight from a standpoint of those timeouts you mentioned, Jay. Like, he saw what was going on, and he was proactive with the timeouts of the 6-0 run, or even in the fourth quarter when he just didn't getting Derek White back into that game. He was ahead of what was going on that front. And that, I think, is a pretty good sign for this team this postseason, for him, like, just having the read on this team for moments like that to know to get on him.
And it was just kind of not the type of performance you'd expect in an elimination game for a lot of the time. And I thought that the Celtics offensive improvements allowed them to keep control of the game most of the way, even while they weren't living up to their own standards defensively. It was one of those games, like, they hit a ton of threes early. They just kept executing. Even when they weren't playing well, it was like they kept getting good shots. They kept not forcing it. Jason Tatum had great passing. Jeff Van Gundy in the post-game locker room went up to Jaylen Brown and was like, a lot of people won't notice that you were really good tonight. And that you just kept trusting the pass. He only had 9 shots, Jaylen did. And normally if Jaylen has 9 shots, 3 turnovers, like
7 assists, though.
Exactly. He had 7 assists. He didn't force it. He just made the right play. And
those are great numbers for him.
And so, as Jeff Van Gundy said, like, I thought Jaylen had a pretty poised, patient game, and he and Tatum, especially in that fourth quarter, like, they were feeding everybody. Everybody ate because of those two guys.
All right. Well, that's everything for me.
All right. Well, as B-Rob exits, we're going to remind you that we'll give you a little free preview here. And if you want to hear the rest of the podcast, go to patreon.com/stillpoddable. Sign up. We're here for you every single day, Monday through Friday.
Still Poddable, still Poddable. Still Poddable.